This is the Vietnamese coffee shop.
My name is Jimmy from San Francisco.
Carter, born and raised, Oakland, East Bay.
I did a Facebook post last week, Thanksgiving, and I was just basically thanking people that inspired me to do this. I was just kind of prepping people to what to kind of expect for the YouTube video. I brushed up a little bit on depression, brushed up a little bit about how I was diagnosed ADHD, just a little bit about my upbringing as a whole, but I'll get to that in a sec. But it led to something tragic that night. One of my family members passed away to suicide.
Yeah, rest in peace to her. We just here to shine more light on our community at the end of the day. I feel like our community is kind of left in the dark in a sense when it comes to other opportunities or outlets that we could like reach. I too had a tragic accident, I guess, or however you want to call it, but I had a friend who committed suicide 2-3 months ago. She's got a lot of depression going on in our community, I feel like. So we try to give this show, this podcast, an outlet to people in our community. Hopefully we can reach our community first and foremost. And
when we're saying our community, we're talking as an immigrant family as a whole, that people are going through poverty and unnecessary obstacles in life that was kind of dealt to us, but not really taught how to deal with.
Definitely learning how to maneuver through this first generation lifestyle we live.
And just to be brief, my upbringing and Carter's upbringing is not your typical upbringing. Like I grew up in the Tenderloin, and then my upbringing was in Chinatown. But I ran away from home at 14 years old, and I had to learn the tough way in life. And it was just such an eye-opening thing for me when this diagnosis happened. It just explained a lot of things. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. It's from the impulsive decision making that I make, and all the substance abuse that I've lived through, and the emotional regulation problems. Like I can't control my frustration and anger, and the way that I take disrespect it's abnormal. It's not normal, and I know it's not normal. But then for some reason I just thought it was me. But then when I share it for the first time, a lot of people can relate to me, and that's the crazy part. When I start coming out with my story, I had a whole bunch of people reach out to me, and thank you for the support for those people that reached out just to see if I was okay. I'm not a doctor or any type of stuff like that. I want you guys to do the research yourself.
You got to give your best opinion on it yourself, and just think about as with a clear, open mind from both sides is what you owe yourself to do. There's so much fake news. You kind of got to relate to it in some way and feel it. I feel like if you just listen to it and just take your time with it and break it down while you listen to it.
Be open-minded. Yeah. Because a lot of people,
sure.
There's a term that I learned recently. It's called the confirmation bias, right? So it's when people basically choose an idea and they kind of stick with it and they believe in it so much that they don't even think about reconsider or dismissing the other person's point of view. I was never a fan of taking pharmaceutical medication to cure any type of disorder. It's because I was brainwashed into believing that everything is all for the pharmaceutical company and benefits, which is true. I mean, every capital gain, I get it, right? I get that argument, but furthermore, doing research, with the whole ADHD thing, understanding that there's a science, there's a brain chemistry that people with ADHD is missing, is something called dopamine. You know what dopamine is?
A little bit.
So dopamine is the chemical in the brain that creates us that happiness, gives us that sense of relief sometimes, or when you win something like a prize, a reward that your brain feels. It could be from gambling, gaming, being correct, laughing, going to comedy. Alcohol, drugs give you that. When I say drugs, I can name every single drug that made you happy, pretty much. But also, issue with that is that the lack of dopamine that you get from doing all those drugs causes depression the next day. It's a chemical thing. Like I'm reaching out to the people that are tired of running, like the ones that just want to stop, the ones that just want to move on from the past and change and look forward to a new future without depending on all that negativity and that brought us down to begin with. And to those like that are still grinding and doing the thing, and I support you guys too. It's like you guys do you, like I'm clearing up the market for you. You do
what you got to do to put to provide for you and your loved ones, and you make sure that you can sleep at night doing whatever it is you got to do. So,
and we want to be that bridge between the community and people like us. If you guys wanted to call in and we wanted to record a live call type of thing, pre-recorded call, and do a Zoom call with us, we would love to hear your story, like what you guys are going through, or tell your brother's story or your sister's story that passed, or somebody that you know that suffered from depression, that you wanted the memory to keep living. Like we're here for that. We want to share that story for you.
or not just share, or just give strength to people to talk about it.
Yes.
Exactly. Like it don't have to be on air. It could just be in a inbox, in a direct message,
Sure.
any way, any form. Because like I said, we had people already falling to like these tragic episodes of suicide, and we just here to trying to touch somebody that's going through whatever they're going through, and at the same time share what we going through, and it's okay to just let it out the bag and talk about things in a positive way, or try to, at least for the most part, uplift each other and know that it's going to be okay to just talk to somebody about it. If not us, we can hopefully guide you to a more professional avenue, because we just two regular Joes, like you said. We just trying to
spread awareness.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's tough. I mean,
It's happening,
like
but
you
nobody's
said,
talking about it.
like Thanksgiving Day alone, I had two people, one being Jimmy and another friend, talk about their friend that just committed suicide. That's fucking last week, and it's just as I was researching.
The holidays is tough, man.
It's always tough because people are seeing so much love going around, and it's like they don't see that around themselves, and they keep that inside. Like they don't have nobody to talk to, and no one to share love with, or whatever it may be, and they just get to a dark place.
Especially people our age.
Yeah.
I'm 37 and he's 36, by the way.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say too, like I was researching on YouTube and looking up this guy, but I had all these notes of what I was looking for, and this doctor on YouTube, Yapko or something like that, but the title was "How to Recover from Depression," and the fact that he stated in there was like back in 2013, depression was number 4 on the list of forget the category it falls under, but like under human tragedy. So there's like car accidents. There's
It's okay. My notes. It's okay.
But it was number 4. Depression was number 4, and what I'm getting at, they predicted it might be number 2 or something like that in another 4 years, and that was in 13. And then by 2018, depression became number 1 on the list of people dying from casualties of depression, freaking car accidents, heart disease, and all the other categories. But it trumped everything, and it's still climbing. So that's like how real it is, So
we coming out of COVID right now. So think about it, right? So during COVID, I went through a depression before that, but I escaped depressions because my wife actually gave me permission to go back to school, and I took a writing class, and I took a statistics class, and I took a psychology class, and this is the first time I went inside a classroom. Keep in mind, like 20 years, okay, so guys, so it was definitely tough. But anyway, going back to what you were saying, coming out right of COVID. During that time, everybody said, "Yo, I'm gonna go do something with my life. I can't let this COVID thing bring me down." So they were doing like little side hustles, and everyone was trying to get creative at home. They were trapped at home, and the people that were productive, they were showing it online a lot, right? And the people that weren't productive, like me on the weekends type of thing, I would be drinking. Actually, matter of fact, I was drinking every night at one point until I went back to school during that time. Yeah, it was bad.
I mean, I've been drinking, just to add on that, is like listening to the same guy talk on YouTube, that the doctor, he was saying, man, if somebody was dealing with some type of depression, alcohol is not the way to go. It can drag you down even worse. And I mean, I see it daily with friends, family, or whatever it may be. Like once you get lost in the alcohol or the drinks, like you get to this point, it's just like,
why do you think that
it's a downer, man?
Why,
for sure.
Why do you think they drink?
Probably just to escape it, and try to have fun and live in that moment. But once it gets past a certain number of drinks, your mind will automatically start going downward, spiraling like towards depression. Like I see it face on all the time. So like no lie, like with the homies having a few drinks, but when it gets deep, like you can see it. It comes out, and it's like,
what shows? Can you give an
anger,
example?
rage?
Can you give it?
Those are the main examples. That I see. Anger and rage. It's not fun anymore. Like you're not just kicking it.
Are you guys hanging out in a group setting, or how's this?
Yeah, it's a group setting. I mean, usually one-on-one settings, I've seen it happen too. Like they just get too, like after a certain amount of drinks, it just kicks in. Something triggers, and they just be causing ruckus for no reason. It's just like mind-boggling how people say like, oh, you can't handle your drinks or whatever. But no, in reality, you got deep that you're dealing with, and it's coming out because all that liquid courage, as they say, you hold nothing back. So you want to put that pain out into this world because that's the pain you've been holding inside. I feel like, so that's what alcohol does to it. But once you learn to accept that you have this issue that you haven't dealt with yet going on, that it'll be probably a big weight lifted off your shoulders. I feel like, and then you'll learn to consume alcohol in a better light. In a sense, but like knowing off top, if you going through something, come on, we all had those conversations, like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, chilling
after a bunch of lines and rails,
chilling with the homies, you know what I'm saying, and just pounding drinks because we don't want the love to go away, so we keep drinking all night and indulge ourselves in those conversations, and then it gets deep.
So I have a confession to make. I'm a ex cocaine user, so I understand. It's like when I go out and drink with my buddies or whatever and stuff like that, it always leads up to that, and the sad part is that when they hit the bag, that's when the truth starts coming out and they start sharing their stories and what they've been going through. And it's like, I don't want to go out and drink and do blow all the time just to make sure my homie's cool, like dub. Like when you really think about it, like they're actually seeking out, not for attention, but having somebody just to listen. And unfortunately, it's like when we're in that setting, for some reason, it just comes out so naturally, so easily when you're on blow.
I don't know if it's blow for me.
Is it?
I used to use it too. When I do it, I used to just try to balance it out.
Yeah.
Because when I get past a certain level of, I guess, drunkenness, I try to balance out and I take.
You use it up to sober up.
Yeah, I use it to sober up in a sense. Yeah. But with my
hey, by the way, we're not trying to say that using coke was cool, because it's not. Just wanted to
Yeah, no, I hate that shit, man. Yeah. We used to be so strong without it, like, and then it just became a thing. So
it became a norm.
It became a norm, man, hand in hand kind of thing. So yeah, I've toned it down a lot. I try to work on just being a cheap date, man. Just taking a couple of drinks and learning to enjoy that buzz. But sometimes it gets so like we coming out of COVID, we don't see our friends, stuff like that. We miss them. So when we hang out, we don't want it to stop in a sense. And we catching up, it takes time to catch up and get deep into conversations with the homies and talk to them. But yeah, man, I feel like that's why we kind of do it. Or I do it, my bad. I mean, yeah,
it's okay, man. I'm not hiding nothing. Like if it's in front of me, well, I haven't touched it since my ADHD diagnosis, but it's one of these things where if it's around, it's really hard to say no. But the thing is, because once you survive something, you feel like you're invincible. I mean, I'm sorry to say that's the truth. Like if you said, oh shit, I didn't die last night. That's why people pop pills. Like it's nothing, because they know that they're gonna make it. Who's gonna pop a pill and think to myself, is this gonna be a night I die when I take this pill? Oh, it doesn't go through their mind. That first time they ever did it, it'll scare out of them. You might get anxiety and stuff like that, but once you live it next day and you talk about it the next day, it becomes a norm. And that's the sad part. You really break it down. And this started at a very young age to experience this.
Yeah, we got introduced to the party life early,
very young.
So I feel like it's a blessing too, because we got it out of our systems in a sense. Because I mean, I hear the stories all the time where people first started hitting the scenes and partying and like drinking alcohol and stuff like that. They just completely flip to a reckless, horrible person. Like they get sloppy,
Sloppy, but do they get violent?
I mean, in most cases, yeah. I mean, not most, but maybe so. Yeah, I hear it. They do like weird, crazy stuff that unheard of or unseen with these people. So in a sense, like we kind of had that. I feel like life, like you pass through so many things in life, like party scenes and stuff like that, and you kind of get it out your system. So that's why sometimes when you see people older that haven't even really experienced that, been grinding all the time with their head down, like focusing on school or work or whatever it may be, and then once they get a taste of that life, they just wild out. They'll go kind of nuts. It's kind of good in the sense that we got our systems early on. That's why I'm saying that, because we've been there, done that, so we kind of get to move forward in our life. And
yeah, but what do you say to the ones that didn't move forward from it? I just started, like the cat's just out the bag now. Like I was addicted to alcohol, Xanax, cocaine. Like I smoke weed every day, just to calm my anxiety down. But without weed, like I'm not promoting weed too at all. Like if I could, I'd stop. I'm trying to work on it right now. But I suffer from insomnia all my life. But now I got kids, right? And I gotta drive them to school every morning. And man, I just stay up and ever since my daughter started to attend elementary school, that's when the sleep got really bad for me. Like I had to wake up. I would sleep at like 3 o'clock in the morning and then get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then try to drive my kids to school. So that's why when I found weed, I just smoked it, and then I'll go to bed by midnight and then wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, which is I'm okay with. I'm okay with 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, and that's how I've been living my whole life. But that's why I got addicted to Xanax, because when I took a Xanax and 2 bottles of wine and a Xanax a night, it would knock me out for 8-9 hours and I was happy. But that's the thing. I mean, that's an excuse.
How'd you feel when you got up from 2 bottles of wine and some
Oh,
Xanax?
then I
Like
hit
after like
then
eight
I hit
nine
the
hours.
that's what happened. Remember that the rock star I took yesterday?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So then after that, I'll go to the gym in the morning, wake up, pound pre-workout, neutralize it, get rid of that sluggish feeling from the Xanax,
yeah,
increase the anxiety up a little bit, it'll neutralize it. And that was my daily, every day
yeah,
for
yeah.
a
That's
long
yeah.
time,
I
and I'm
mean,
talking years.